Hello and good evening. This is Doc Severson for the ReadySetCrypto OMNIA trade of the day for Tuesday, the 7th of September. Okay, bit of a crash today that we had. You can see this if we go down to a smaller time frame chart. We can see this 12-minute chart, and we got to this point this morning where we had within the space of about, in this case, 24 minutes, we had just a massive move from about 49 and change all the way down to, let's see where this actually bottomed out, 43,000. So we lost 6,000 points in just a few minutes. And you can see the issue is still in doubt at this point. Now, most people are going to watch at the daily chart and look at this and say, oh, wow, look at this bottoming tail. So that's a good sign, that the fact that we've had a bottoming tail, but that doesn't necessarily mean things are over yet. Now, what I've been talking about for the last few weeks has been the weekly chart. Yes? Okay, does that sound familiar, right? Weekly chart, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row, essentially with movement to the upside. And what I've been talking about is the fact that all the smaller time frame charts have moved into an uptrend, but we haven't seen this happen yet with the right action on the weekly chart. So to net this out, what we need to see is some type of higher low and then followed by a higher high. What this will do is this will change this current downtrend with lower high, lower low into an uptrend. Now, this swing is a great start towards that, but it doesn't mean anything until we do have a full transition on one time frame after another. This is why I always talk about rule number 2, smaller time frames lead the process of change, and then that propagates up to higher time frames. So this is a good start. It's a little quicker than I expected it to happen, not all in one day, and especially not all in 24 minutes, moving to the downside. But again, you can't trade the market that you want, only the one that's in front of you. So is this happening? Is this happening, or is this the beginning of something deeper and more sinister? Well, this is where we go to different forms of analysis like this. First of all, what we can do is we can put some fib retracements on this. And we've talked about this before, right? Fib retracements. And we have basically a 38.2% retracement, which is great. Okay, my sense is it's not necessarily over yet. Now we can overlay this on top of the daily swing as well too. So that's the weekly swing. And then we can take the last daily swing from here. And this is where we go for fib confluence. We're going to start at the bottom of this move, which was 5th of August. And there it is. Okay. And so we're going to run the fibs up. So we may have to do this again. All right, let's start it outside of that area there. Okay, we got it this time. And we're just going to line them up together. And what we see is a fair amount of confluence here. The prices come down to the 61.8% retracement of this daily swing, which also corresponds with the 38.2% retracement of the larger swing that's in here. So this is a good place for the price to find support, as well as you can see this red line, the 50-day moving average. All of this is coming together to form some good confluence. Now, that's a good start, but what we have to see is the price do something like this, has to eventually start to transition into an uptrend. And that will happen, as always, at the smallest time frames. Let's go ahead and clean this up, first of all. All right, so there's the daily chart. Again, just a one-day wonder so far. That's it. Now, we have the 12-minute chart, as we talked about. Okay, so the 12-minute chart has gone into a series of lower highs and lower lows over the last couple of days, whatever, right? So this is all a downtrend right now. Now, reversals start from the inside out and they propagate higher. So what has to happen is we have to see the 12-minute chart or the equivalent. Doesn't have to be 12, it could be 10, could be something small and intraday, has to transition into an uptrend. And that has to happen by putting in a higher low, check. We got that so far. Now it needs a higher high, which currently is about 47.6. That has to happen. Otherwise, this is just another lower high and it's going to roll over and continue to plumb the depths until support is found. So back to the daily chart, best case scenario here is that we wander around for a couple of days and we build up enough negativity that creates a fantastic opportunity to squeeze the shorts out to the upside, which may take another week or so. A lot of times it's not necessarily one day down and one day back up, right? So it actually helps if it takes a couple of days for this process to stir, and then everybody starts to wonder and starts to worry and starts to think, well, maybe I should sell and maybe this is the last chance for me to get out. Negativity sort of builds on itself just due to human nature. That's very common. And so the worry warts will come out and then start to sell and then start to encourage their friends to sell. And then the whole thing starts to slide downhill. This is what creates this negative sentiment, which is so necessary to get the shorts emboldened. Well, maybe I can go short here. This will be great. And look, in my experience, if you want to go short, that's great, but you got to be in it to win it. You can't wait until the bottom down here and say, I think it feels good to go short now. You got to be short all the way up here and be riding this thing short to have any chance to get on board these things. It's literally impossible to join a short move. They are so fast. So I'm not going to panic unless we start to see really these fib retracements really just skewered to the downside. So far, the support has come in exactly where it needs to. Everything looks pretty good, but what I will do is watch those smaller time frames to ensure that we do have a bottoming process starting out here. Again, daily candle looks pretty good, nice lower wick on there, but it needs to be followed up by smaller time frames reversing back to the upside. I'm not going to go through the rest of the coins today. Obviously, Solana is a beacon of hope in the wall of worry here. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum. We have the same thing happening here in Ethereum, the 50-day moving average, as well as this support floor right around 3,000, round number support coming in at 3,000. Classic case of retest of the breakout from this consolidation pattern. Really, everything still looks really good for Ethereum, so forth. And you can start to see the beginning of this big cup. And perhaps this is going to be the beginning of the handle pattern for this. So that is a big move there. And it goes from about 4,000 down to, let's just say, just to keep the math easy, down to 2,000. So that means that this has got an upside target of about 6,000 from when it finally breaks out above here, if that's in fact what it's going to do. All right, folks, that is it for today's report. Not really worth going through the rest of the assets. They will be beholden to Bitcoin and Ethereum for market direction for right now. So keep an eye on that and watch how the price recovers from here, if it does. Thanks for listening. We will catch you with tomorrow's report.